If you've added turmeric to your daily routine, maybe in your tea, oatmeal, or supplement form, you're already doing something amazing for your health. Turmeric has become a household staple for many older adults, and for good reason. Studies show that it may help ease joint pain, improve heart health, support digestion, and even protect memory as we age. But here's what almost nobody talks about. Even though turmeric is packed with benefits, it can actually backfire when you pair it with the wrong foods. In fact, if you're over 60, there are 3 common foods you should avoid combining with turmeric. Not because they're bad on their own, but because they can interfere with turmeric's effectiveness or even cause discomfort. You might not connect back to the real culprit. And here's the surprising part. You probably eat at least one of these foods every day. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what those foods are, why they don't mix well with turmeric, and what you can do instead to keep reaping all the benefits this golden spice has to offer. Plus, stick around until the end, where we'll also cover the 3 best foods to combine with turmeric if you want to supercharge its absorption and healing power. One of them increases turmeric's strength in the body by over 2,000%. No exaggeration. Now, before we begin, if you care about your health and enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. All right, let's talk about the first food to avoid with turmeric. Number 1, processed dairy. I'm not talking about all dairy. I'm talking about the ultra-processed stuff that so many of us grew up eating and still have stocked in the fridge. Things like American cheese slices, flavored yogurts, powdered coffee creamers, or pre-shredded cheese in bags. These foods are everywhere. They're convenient, they taste good, and they make meals feel complete. But here's the problem. Processed dairy contains a cocktail of additives that can disrupt digestion, especially in older adults. Artificial sweeteners, stabilizers, and emulsifiers all make it harder for your gut to absorb nutrients properly, including turmeric's active compound, curcumin. And even more importantly, the proteins in dairy can actually bind to curcumin and reduce how much of it your body can use. Think about that for a moment. You might be taking turmeric every morning to fight inflammation or protect your memory, but if you're also mixing it into scrambled eggs with cheese or adding it to a turmeric latte made with flavored creamer, you could be canceling out most of the benefits without even realizing it. Now, does that mean you can never enjoy something creamy again? Of course not. There's a better way. If you love adding turmeric to drinks or meals, try switching to plant-based alternatives like unsweetened almond milk, oat milk, or coconut milk. These are easier to digest, naturally anti-inflammatory, and won't interfere with curcumin absorption. A warm turmeric latte made with almond milk, a dash of black pepper, and a spoonful of raw honey? That's not just delicious, it's one of the most effective ways to use turmeric. And if you do still enjoy regular dairy, try separating it from your turmeric-rich meals. Give your body a little breathing room between them. Even a couple of hours can make a difference in how well you absorb the benefits. Let's move on to the second food. Number 2, vinegar-rich foods. This one surprises a lot of people because vinegar is often thought of as a health food, and in the right context, it is. But when it comes to turmeric, it can cause more problems than it solves. Foods to watch out for here include bottled salad dressings, pickles, ketchup, mustard, coleslaw made with vinegar, or dishes with lots of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. So why are acidic foods like these an issue? It all comes down to something turmeric really doesn't like: an unstable environment. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, is sensitive. When it comes into contact with highly acidic foods, especially vinegar, it can start to break down before your body even has a chance to absorb it. It's like trying to catch rain with a colander. You're putting it in your body, but you're not keeping much of it. And for people over 60 who may already deal with heartburn, acid reflux, or sensitive digestion, the combination of turmeric and vinegar can make symptoms worse. It creates more acidity in the stomach, which not only feels uncomfortable, it further blocks curcumin from being absorbed where it's needed. If you've ever added turmeric to your salad dressing and ended up with bloating, gas, or stomach pain afterward, this might be why. So what's the alternative? Make your own turmeric-friendly dressings. Use olive oil, lemon juice, black pepper, and a bit of raw honey instead of heavy vinegars or pre-bottled dressings. This combo doesn't just avoid the problem, it actually amplifies turmeric's effectiveness. Healthy fat, black pepper, and natural sweetness? That's a triple win, and we'll explain more about why shortly. If you love pickles, ketchup, or other vinegary foods, you don't have to give them up. Just eat them at a separate meal from your turmeric intake. Spread things out so the spice can do its job without interference. Let's move on to the third and final food you should avoid combining with turmeric, especially if you're hoping to get its full anti-inflammatory and healing benefits. And that's refined sugar. I know this one probably isn't a shock, but what most people don't realize is just how quietly refined sugar slips into our diets, especially in foods that seem healthy on the surface. You'll find it in breakfast cereals, flavored oatmeal packets, fruit-flavored yogurts, baked goods, even some so-called health bars and diabetic-friendly snacks. Now here's where it becomes a real problem for turmeric users. Refined sugar creates a pro-inflammatory environment in the body. It triggers insulin spikes, increases inflammation in the blood vessels, and can actually disrupt the way your gut absorbs nutrients. That means when you combine turmeric with sugary foods, even something as simple as mixing it into sweetened oatmeal or sipping it in a drink with flavored syrup, you're creating a push-pull situation in your body. On the one hand, turmeric is trying to lower inflammation and soothe your system. On the other hand, sugar is raising inflammation and fighting against everything turmeric is trying to do. It's like trying to put out a fire while pouring gasoline on it at the same time. Now, this doesn't mean you have to give up sweetness altogether, but it does mean you should be thoughtful about when and how you add turmeric to your day. If you love a golden milk latte, use unsweetened almond or oat milk. And if you want a touch of sweetness, try raw honey or stevia instead of processed sugar. Raw honey is especially powerful. It's naturally anti-inflammatory, supports gut health, and provides just enough sweetness to balance out the earthiness of turmeric without creating an inflammatory storm. Now that we've covered the three foods that don't mix well with turmeric, processed dairy, vinegar-heavy foods, and refined sugar, let's shift gears. Because if you want turmeric to actually work inside your body, you need to pair it with the right foods. Foods that don't just support it, but turbocharge its effects. And this is where things get exciting. Let's start with the most powerful turmeric partner of all, black pepper. It might sound too simple, but the science behind it is incredible. Black pepper contains a compound called piperine. Piperine helps prevent curcumin, the active ingredient in turmeric, from breaking down in your digestive system. On its own, curcumin is hard for your body to absorb. It gets metabolized too quickly and never reaches your bloodstream in meaningful amounts. But when you combine turmeric with just a pinch of black pepper, you increase its bioavailability by over 2,000%. That's not an exaggeration. Clinical studies have confirmed it. It's like flipping a switch in your body that says, all right, let's get this golden spice to work. That's why in traditional Indian cooking, turmeric and black pepper are almost always used together. It's not just for taste, it's wisdom passed down through generations, and now backed by science. The second food that pairs beautifully with turmeric is healthy fat. Curcumin is fat-soluble, meaning it dissolves best in fat. Without it, much of the turmeric you take may pass through your system without doing its job. But when you pair it with a good fat like olive oil, coconut oil, ghee, or even avocado, you help it get absorbed in the gut and carried to your cells where it can actually work its magic. This is why turmeric works especially well in warm dishes like soups, curries, and golden lattes, because they often include healthy fats. Even just adding a drizzle of olive oil to a turmeric-spiced soup or tea helps maximize the benefits. And finally, there's raw honey. We mentioned it earlier as an alternative to sugar, but it deserves its own spotlight here. Raw honey is naturally anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and rich in enzymes that support digestion. It also soothes the throat, balances gut bacteria, and helps temper the bitterness of turmeric in drinks or recipes. When combined, these two ingredients become more than the sum of their parts. They're calming, healing, and deeply nourishing, especially for older adults who may deal with joint pain, digestive issues, or low immune function. So now let's put this all together. If you want a simple, delicious, and effective way to take turmeric daily without making any of the common mistakes, try this. Warm up about 1 cup of unsweetened almond milk in a small saucepan. Add half a teaspoon of ground turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, and about 1 teaspoon of raw honey. Stir gently until it's warm and well combined. If you like, you can add a sprinkle of cinnamon or a slice of fresh ginger for extra flavor. That's it. A soothing drink you can enjoy in the morning or before bed. It supports your joints, your immune system, your memory, and your mood. And it takes just 5 minutes to make. So you've been taking turmeric regularly, maybe in a warm drink, maybe in a capsule, or mixed into food. But how do you know it's really doing anything? Turmeric isn't like a painkiller where you feel the results in 20 minutes. It works subtly, slowly, but consistently. And when turmeric starts working, the first sign many people notice is a shift in inflammation. That might show up as a little less stiffness in the morning. You might find it easier to stand up, to stretch, to get moving. Maybe your knees don't ache quite as much after a walk. Maybe you're not reaching for over-the-counter pain relief as often. These small improvements build over time. If you deal with chronic inflammation, from arthritis, metabolic syndrome, or autoimmune issues, turmeric helps reduce the underlying triggers. It works by turning down specific enzymes in your body that create the chemicals responsible for swelling, pain, and heat. It doesn't block symptoms like a drug, it addresses the root cause. Another subtle but powerful benefit many people notice is improved digestion. Turmeric can help with bloating, gas, slow digestion, and even acid reflux. It stimulates bile production, which helps break down fats and supports liver function. And when your gut is calmer, your whole body feels better. Now here's something else to pay attention to, your mood. Turmeric has been shown in multiple studies to improve symptoms of depression and anxiety. It boosts serotonin and dopamine levels, the same feel-good chemicals that many antidepressants target. So if you notice you're feeling a little lighter, a little more motivated, or less foggy, that might not be a coincidence. That might be turmeric doing its job. But as with anything, too much of a good thing can sometimes backfire. So let's talk about when to take a break. Most experts agree that turmeric is very safe when used as a food or in moderate supplement form. But if you're taking high doses, especially long-term, it can start to affect your stomach lining. You might feel more heartburn or an upset stomach or even notice your appetite changing. If that happens, it's a signal to pull back. Try taking turmeric every other day, or stick to food-based use instead of capsules. Your body is always giving you feedback. You just have to listen. There's also a group of people who need to be a little extra cautious with turmeric, and that's anyone taking blood-thinning medications. Turmeric naturally reduces platelet aggregation, which is part of how it protects the heart. But when you combine it with prescription blood thinners like warfarin, aspirin, or clopidogrel, it can potentially increase the risk of bruising or bleeding. Now, this doesn't mean you can't have turmeric at all, but it does mean you should talk to your doctor or pharmacist before taking high-dose supplements. They may recommend you stick with food-based turmeric instead, or monitor your blood levels more closely. If you're also on medications for diabetes, turmeric can enhance insulin sensitivity and lower blood sugar. Again, this is a good thing, but only if you're aware of it. If your blood sugar is already well controlled, adding turmeric may cause it to dip too low. So keep an eye on how you feel and check with your provider if you're taking insulin or glucose-lowering pills. There are a few other medications that may interact with turmeric, including drugs for acid reflux, certain antidepressants, and immunosuppressants. If you're on multiple prescriptions, it's always wise to run any new supplement, especially one with active effects by a qualified professional. And here's a practical tip. If you're using turmeric every day and you're also taking medications, try separating them by at least 2 hours. That gives your body time to process each one more effectively without interference. Now, if you've been taking turmeric for weeks or months and wondering when you'll feel the difference, don't give up. Remember, turmeric is like a long-term partner. It works in the background, slowly improving your internal environment. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand attention. But over time, you may realize you're sleeping better, moving easier, feeling more like yourself. Let's wrap up by talking about one of turmeric's most fascinating effects, its ability to support your brain. Now, you've probably already heard that turmeric is anti-inflammatory. You might know it's good for your joints, your heart, and your digestion. But what many people don't realize is that turmeric may also protect your memory, focus, and overall brain health in a way few natural compounds can. Here's why. Inside turmeric is a compound called curcumin. You've heard that name a few times now. But curcumin doesn't just work in your gut or your muscles. It crosses something called the blood-brain barrier, a protective wall that blocks most substances from reaching your brain. Very few natural ingredients can do this, but curcumin can. Once inside the brain, curcumin does something amazing. It helps reduce a type of inflammation linked to memory loss, brain fog, and cognitive decline. It also boosts a protein called BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as brain fertilizer. It helps grow new neurons and strengthens the connections between them, and the science backs this up. In one double-blind, placebo-controlled study published in the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry, adults aged 50 to 80 who took curcumin twice a day saw significant improvements in memory, attention, and mood over just 18 months. Brain scans even showed less buildup of amyloid plaques, the kind associated with Alzheimer's disease. So if you're over 60 and you've started to feel more forgetful or slower to process information, turmeric might be a simple way to help protect your brain's long-term health. That doesn't mean it's a cure, but it's a tool, a daily act of prevention, one that's safe, affordable, and deeply rooted in traditional medicine, now confirmed by modern research. Now let's talk about something most people never ask. When should you take turmeric for the best results? It depends on your goal. If your focus is joint pain or inflammation, especially in the knees, hands, or back, try taking turmeric in the morning, ideally with breakfast. This gives your body a head start on managing inflammation throughout the day, and when combined with healthy fat and black pepper, it'll absorb even better. If your focus is digestion, you can take it before a meal. This helps stimulate bile flow and prepare your stomach for food, especially if you deal with bloating or sluggish digestion. And if your focus is sleep or brain recovery, turmeric can be helpful before bed. It calms the nervous system, supports liver function, and may even promote more restful sleep by reducing inflammation in the brain and gut. In any case, consistency matters more than timing. Whether you take it once a day or split it into 2 smaller doses, make it a habit. A regular ritual that reminds your body you're on its side. Now, before we close, let's take a step back. Turmeric isn't magic, but it's something close to it, especially when you use it wisely. Avoid mixing it with processed dairy, vinegar-heavy meals, and refined sugar. Choose instead to pair it with black pepper, healthy fats, and natural sweeteners like raw honey. Be mindful of how your body responds. Listen closely, and don't be afraid to ask your doctor if you're taking medications or have concerns. The most powerful thing about turmeric isn't what it promises, it's what it supports. It gives your body the tools it needs to calm inflammation, fight off damage, and stay sharper, stronger, and more balanced as the years go by. And for something so small, so golden, and so accessible, that's a gift worth using. If you found this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below. Let us know how you use turmeric or if you've noticed a difference since adding it to your life. Your story could inspire someone else to take that first step. Thanks for watching, and here's to your health from the inside out.